Friday. Welcome to F1 Live Banter. There, I'm on board with it now.
Finally,
I think it's just stuck. So this week we are at Jeddah in Saudi. Again, race structure is or the weekend structure, should I say, is slightly different as the F1 calendar honors Ramadan. So we've got qualifying later on today at 6 p.m. CET, 5 p.m. UK time, and P3 starts in 30 minutes. So potentially we could cut it slightly shorter so we can all go and watch P3. Shall we
do some work, of course.
Have it on in the background?
Yeah.
Indeed. Shall we do some quick intros? I think anyone that is watching should be familiar with us by now, but go on, Alex, take us away.
Oh, okay. Well, can Jensen take us away just whilst I figure out where to find the scores for the fantasy F1 Fantasy League?
I've got them with me here.
So click on fantasy, bottom right, click on your leagues, pinned league, click on it, and it will bring up the scoreboard. But to jump in, hey all, Jensen Abbott, BDR at content.ai. Really looking forward to this podcast today and looking forward to the Grand Prix this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. Boom, boom.
Come on, Lando Norris.
Good afternoon, all. Alex Abbott, the bearded sales guy, F1 fan for many years, at least 27 years, because that's how old Jordan is. I was looking. I'll have to show you. Actually, I'm really proud of this. 1 second.
I'm intrigued now.
So the first ever race I went to was Silverstone in 1999. The second race I went to, the first race I was just general admission, and it was a really poor experience. I was kind of watching the race on club corner between two railings, like there was a gap in the fence. The second year, I invested in a ticket in what was called the farm enclosure. Don't know what it's called now. Maybe it's still called the farm enclosure. And I had my ticket made into a placemat.
That is cool. That is very cool.
It was it's a bit old and battered, but you see the little what do they call that? That shiny sticker.
The hologram.
Yeah. And it's cork.
Very nice. To be fair, I foolishly now that I know the story, I just thought that was the ticket, and for some reason they made it really thick.
No,
I didn't realise you had it made into a placemat.
I had it made into a placemat. I've got some other tickets hanging up. Actually, I could probably get them made into a placemat as well. But I actually used it, so there are coffee and tea stains on there. I probably shouldn't have used it.
No.
Can you just see in the light there the tea and coffee stains? Okay. Anyway, it was £115, and this was the year 2000. Guess what date the British Grand Prix used to be held? Because obviously now it's June, July in the summer, the midst of the summer.
September?
No, April, 23rd of April, 2000. 3 months before you were born, Jensen.
Wow. Wow.
There we have it.
Wait, 3 months? Okay. Sorry. I was just trying to figure out. I thought you said 3 months after, and then I was like, hang about. Was Jensen conceived after the first Silverstone that you went to? Anyway,
he was in Mum's tummy at that point.
Yeah. Let's move on swiftly. So Jeddah, it's a fairly new circuit. It was this is the 4th year that it's held there. I've got some very basic info about it. Again, what I'll do, I'll share my screen because
4th year.
importantly, we've got to take a look at the championship of our podium predictions, and
Okay.
I think we'll be shocked.
Before you do that, though, can
Yeah.
you just let people know who's first in the fantasy league?
So currently, Alex, one of Alex's teams is first, and
it's the team called the Bearded Sales Guy.
Indeed. I'm just trying to quickly work out what the accumulative results would be.
Jensen, you don't look very happy, mate.
If you talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, so in first place with 202 points is the Bearded Sales Guy. In second place is Augusto's F1.
Yeah.
Come on, Augusto. Where is Augusto today?
He's not with us. He's got a town hall meeting.
Okay.
I will have to reach out to him to get his podium predictions as well.
So Bearded Sales Guy on 202 points. Augusto's F1 is on 171 points. In third place is Chocolat Leclerc, Jordan Abbott, with 170 points, 1 point behind Augusta.
I think I should get bonus points for the creativity of my team names. We've got Chocolat Leclerc, Signs on the dotted line, and Land Down Under.
What do they say? What do they say? Self. They're very good, I must say. They are brilliant, but self-praise is no praise.
Yeah, something like that.
I've got a feeling we might actually see some of my old cliches, some of my worst dad kind of sayings coming out on this podcast.
Yeah, likely.
Yeah,
likely. We'll put everyone else through them.
Well, I mean, can you remember the race where Hamilton was 24th, and I'm pretty sure he came back to win the Grand Prix?
Interlagos. He was 20th because Red Bull complained to the FIA about their rear wing, so the FIA created a new test, and they ended up he ended up starting from the back of the grid, came through to win the Grand Prix.
That's going to be me in the fantasy league.
Yeah,
you watch.
Nice. Okay, well you're fifth at the moment, gents. One of your teams is fifth on 153 points.
I know.
So let's see.
The 99.9 million spent wasn't worth it then, was it?
99.9 million problems. Yeah, no, I guess not. Does it tell you how much you spent? Ah, okay, yeah. So I spent. So if I've got a 1.4 million in the bank, that's basically what's left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get 98.6.
98.6. Augusto spent 98.9. Jordan spent 99.2.
One of my, I was trying to update one of my teams so that it was bang on 100, but it for some reason wouldn't load, and it had Hulkenberg in, just because I had to try and maximize it. But anyway,
yeah.
I
spent the least, but I'm in first place. Sorry. Yeah.
Very nice. So I've just calculated the cumulative scores across each of our three teams.
Yeah.
Jensen's still in last place.
Okay.
With 393. Then Augusto with 414 points. Then myself with 479. And Dad is first with 480.
How many 480?
So 1 point in it.
Yeah, but have you seen you can use also specific chips? I've got no idea what they mean. And also all depends.
That's why you're in last place, mate.
I know. But also you can select double points for the
drivers, yeah.
So this week's going to be interesting because I can see a lot of people have Bearded Sales Guy have Max Verstappen on double points, and he looks like he's being outpaced. So that could
Yeah.
be interesting.
Oh damn! Do I still have? Do I have time to change it?
Yeah, you do. You've got 3 hours.
Okay.
3 hours, 49 minutes.
Need to have a look at it. So are we going to be talking about this today?
We are, and we will come on to it. I think first, if we give a bit of background on the circuit, it's very quick. As I said, we'll share the podium predictor championship table between the three of us, and then we'll make our predictions, and then we'll open the floor up. There's a couple of topics. I think Red Bull are in disarray, quite frankly.
Up and down the team.
Up and down the team, indeed. Sainz got hit by appendicitis.
I know. They were talking about him being a bit sick yesterday and said it was a stomach bug and he didn't look good.
Yeah.
Turns out appendicitis. And he won't be racing this weekend.
No, I know. After the performance he put in last week in Bahrain, it feels like this is a common theme, though. He does something fantastic and then gets hit by illness or the engine sets alight or
he spins off.
I feel for him.
So what happened before then? Remind me. I'm thinking in the rain when he spun off, or is that
maybe
when the digger came on the circuit and it was all a bit?
Yeah, was that in Suzuka?
Him?
Suzuka last year, maybe, or the year before. But yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme. Again, I might be making that up. Want to talk about the F1 Academy, given that it is International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. F1 Academy, this year, there's 7 races that follow the F1 calendar, one of which being in Saudi. So there's 14 races total.
Yeah.
Their season. 7 of them follow the F1 calendar.
I thought they're all so from now and the full season for the women. It's every women's race is following where the men's is.
That is correct. You're right. My information is wrong. So it is
because it marks. I think it marks it's the first time the women have ever done that, and is it the second year of the F1 Academy? I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
But it's great that they're doing that because the women are getting the centre stage, joining the centre stage, which I think is fantastic.
Indeed. If you do want to watch the F1 Academy, it is streamed for free. I think on the F1 app, though, what we will do, it will also be streamed to the F1 Academy's YouTube and X accounts as well. So for anyone that's wanting to watch the F1 Academy, check out their YouTube page or on Twitter, now known as X.
Yes, indeed.
Good stuff.
Can we also call out the new specs as well?
Oh, thank you very much. I thought no one would ask. Yeah,
they suit you. They look good.
I just thought, I'm spending 50 plus hours sat in front of my computer screen a week. Yeah. I should probably protect my eyes. They're only blue light ones. I should probably go to the opticians at some point. But they're by a fantastic brand called Mela. They seem to have a consistent or a constant 2-for-1 offer on. So I decided to get some specs and also some sunnies, all for under €50.
Do
Wow.
you have an affiliate link by any chance?
Well, I was going to say I'll drop it in the comment section. I thought I'd put these on just to
Did it make the room that dark? Find your surroundings again. It seemed like it. Put them on, you'd be like, whoa.
I'm feeling Blues Brothers when you put them on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. Good stuff. So let me share my screen and we will have a little look. Perfect. Are you
So-
able to let
oh. Yeah, are we moving? Are we still talking about the women? Because I do want to say,
Yeah.
before we move on, I do want to say that I watched the qualifying yesterday, the women's qualifying, and it is a shame to see that they're in such different cars. I would like to see them in proper F1 cars. I don't know why that is at the moment.
I think it's regarding budgets and just
Okay.
the fact that because there's not the exposure, because it's so in its infancy, let's say, there's not the financial backing behind it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, good point. Because I did notice they were calling the teams. So, like the Mercedes, for example, they were calling it Mercedes sponsored or Alpine sponsored.
Yeah, so that's part of there's been a bill that's been passed where each of the Formula One teams has to nominate / sponsor a driver.
Okay.
So the Mercedes back driver, Debbie Pin, I want to say.
Yeah, Dorian
Dorian
Pin. She's
Pin.
French, from
Dorian,
your neck of the woods.
Indeed. She's starting on pole.
She is nearly a whole second, nearly 8/10 ahead of Abby Pulling, who is British, in second place, driving for Alpine.
Who will be pulling her way up the grid to first place.
Ba-boom.
I was going to say we've got to save that for the old man, but I guess you're.
I was going to say, thanks,
so
gents.
you can get.
Good to see I'm not.
Well, I was going to go even worse and say pulling her way to pole position, but I thought that sounded a little bit too cheesy in whole.
No, what you said was cheesy anyway.
It was.
Pulling our way through the pack. You know, there's plenty.
Okay, stop now.
We'll move swiftly on. So the first Grand Prix was held in Saudi at the Jeddah Street Circuit in 2021. It is a temporary street circuit. There are some permanent corners that have been built, sort of dedicated for the track.
Mhm.
And the track was initially designed, the first pitch, let's say, for them to have it join the F1 calendar was presented using Google Maps.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Designed by the Tilk company.
I must admit, I do like that bottom left corner. I don't know what the name of it is, if there is a name.
Turn 13.
It's sweeping corner. They come round there.
Yeah.
But they look good when they come round there.
Is this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan, I'm thinking of when we done the 2-player career mode on F1. But is that chicane down the main straight? Is that chicane the one where it's actually left open? So if people mess up, they can almost like drive straight through?
You are referring to
1 and 2, no? Or is it
just here? So no, this is quite tight actually. I think this was the result of many a restart on our F1 2-player career mode.
It was.
To be fair,
You know that shape reminds me of the swimming pool section in Monaco.
Yeah.
This is a left-handed course, isn't it? So you would come down.
So it goes counterclockwise, yeah.
Yeah. Or a left-handed track, I should say, not course.
Indeed. You got golf on the brain.
Do you know what? It would be interesting to see it go around the other way, the track, because as you go around the other way, the final corner would be 2 and 1, and that's a tight corner to finish on.
Yeah. Indeed. So it was it's 6.174 kilometers long, 50 laps, just over 300 kilometers in total, and the lap record held by our boy Lewis Hamilton with 130.734 in 2021. This was pre Was it pre the regulation changes?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Though they are saying, so the cars are a second a lap faster this year,
Okay.
given their improvements for lap. But
Yeah.
I don't know if the lap time, that lap record, has to be in race conditions, or whether or not the testing and the qualifying is counted for the lap record.
I think it's race conditions.
Okay.
I believe if anyone does know the answer, then and wants to correct me, please do.
You would think to keep it fair, like an average, it would be race conditions, right?
Yeah, because otherwise, you put a lap's worth of 3 laps worth of fuel just to get you in and out of the pits.
Yeah.
And fresh soft. Winners, obviously, we've only had 3 Grand Prix here, so we have 3 different winners, all on one win. Hamilton in the inaugural, Verstappen 2022, and then Perez in 2023, when all looked well, and there looked to be promise of Perez actually challenging before it all went to pot later on in the season. Now, championship table, none of us got any right. So this was our podium predictor.
Okay.
Off of our predictions of what the podium would look like, none of us got any right. So no one's out of the blocks yet.
Okay. So we have to get them exactly right.
Yeah.
First, second, and third place.
Not all of them. Just you say it's a prediction. If you get third place right, then it's and I'll come out of this. So third place right will be 5 points. Second place correct prediction is 4 points, and first place correct prediction is 3 points.
Yeah. Okay. So are we going to do predictions, or can we talk about last week's race and what I think they're going to be this week?
Let's talk about last week's race, and then we can move on to predictions if you fancy.
So the one thing in my mind is the fact that in qualifying, Max said to his engineer that he didn't put in a P1 qualifying lap time, yet he still got P1. And when you look at the times, Leclerc went faster than Max in qualifying, but it was in Q2, not Q3.
Yeah.
So it obviously doesn't count. So based on that, we know that Leclerc could go faster than Max.
Yeah, but we know that Max still has something in the tank.
But does he? Race pace, yes. Aggressive driving to basically carve through someone on a corner, yes. But, look at Alonso. He's gone fastest in P1 and P2.
Yeah.
Russell is second. Max is third. So are we going to see someone else out-qualify Max today? I feel like we are.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah, it's. I think it's Alonso.
Yeah, I would like to think it's Alonso.
Really
7/10 faster than It would be so good if it was. I do like Alonso.
I mean, the Astons seemingly have pace because you've got Stroll, who's in 6th, or was 6th on his 1 lap pace in P2.
After hitting the wall.
So it feels like the Astons are going to be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, which is interesting or strange because last week they
repping the green today.
Last week they weren't. They didn't have the pace.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Last week, I think there were a lot of surprises. I thought Russell would do better than he did. Hats off to Carlos.
Where did he come in the end?
Third, passing Leclerc twice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I love about Signs? Have you seen the radio conversations where he goes, "Smooth operator"? Smooth. Yeah. Honestly, a video come up and I absolutely loved it. I saw it where he actually paid off. He won the race, and he kind of cut off his engineer and started singing it, and it was absolutely class. Class.
Yeah.
Class. What do you think about what do you think about not Mercedes, McLaren? Sorry, because they're looking a little bit further down the table.
Yeah, it's interesting. What do we know?
10th and 12th.
What tyres they were on in P2?
Before the defining qualifying session later on.
I can't find out. I can't see right now. But
no, I think Lando was struggling. He was. I just don't think they've got the pace. That the setup wasn't right. He was complaining of. Was it porpoising? Not porpoising, or the bottoming out of the car.
Yeah. It's a.
Although Zach Brown, is it Zach Brown?
Brown.
Yeah.
Zach Brown was saying in the interview that they're competitive and they're just kind of finding their way, playing around with stuff. But I'm just not so sure.
No. Sorry, go on, gents.
I was going to say, what about my boy Gasly coming in at 9th place?
I was just about to say, is there hope for Alpine after the buses that they took to Bahrain?
What is going on there? I mean, the team was last race. There's a mass exodus of people leaving. I think maybe because they came last and were worried about the season.
Yeah.
And then they're midfield.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it a setup issue? Just they got it completely wrong in Bahrain?
I don't know. But do we know why everyone's left?
No, we don't. Though
They
might be asking for their jobs back now.
No, yeah.
Also, just to jump in, is because I'm watching Drive to Survive and I'm on the last episode of last season, but what I'm about to talk about is like episode 4 or 5. Was it Alpine last year that they got rid of their team principal and brought someone new in?
Yeah. So Otmar Safnauer was sacked at the race meet, at the race weekend.
Race day, wasn't it?
He was sacked, and he had to go home before P1, which was just bizarre, right? So the CEO of Alpine, Bruno Fammer, came in and said, "Do you know what? I'm going to be temporary team principal," and he's remained. He seems to be typically French.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he just was like, "This isn't good enough," and just fired the 2 people that were closest to him. The chief, what was it? The CTO and I can't remember who else, but yeah, it's
the CTO, Chief Technical Officer Pat Fry, and CEO Laurent Rossi all departing. That's from 2 days ago. Right. And the sporting director, Alain Parmain. I don't know how old that is, though. Is that right?
Yeah, I think from, if I remember correctly, from Drive to Survive, I think it's because the old team principal, when they held a meeting with him, apparently their expectations weren't aligned. He said, "Look, I'm not here to win everything right now. It's more to find a race car that's going to work and have fun along the way." And I think that's where CEO kind of stepped in and was like, "Right, we see things completely."
I think that was him being a realist, right? You can't go from midfield to challenging. I know the goal for Alpine, Renault, is to challenge the top 3. and they sort of were close with a 4th 2 years ago, 6th last year.
Well, last year they started off pretty well, but then they seem to have lost it. I think there was 2 races in a row where both cars DNF'd.
Yeah.
0 points on 2 race weekends.
It
And
was
that's when,
back-to-back double DNF.
yeah, that's when Aston Martin and McLaren then kind of overtook them quite swiftly with receiving no points.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so shall we do podium predictions?
Yeah.
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
Race, who have you got first, Alex?
I think Verstappen's going to be first, because even if he doesn't qualify first, he's going to muscle his way through. I know it's not an easy track to overtake on, but I'm going to say Alonso second and Russell third.
Russell third. Gents?
Can I change Russell?
Yeah.
Perez. The street circuit guru.
Okay.
We should do fastest lap as well,
We should.
because Perez would get fastest lap. Oh, I also watched a video as well, just to jump in. It was of Max. He was asking who got the fastest lap time, and I think it was Perez on one race last season. Got like a 16. I can't remember the numbers. I think it was like a 16.9 or something. And Max turned around and said, "Oh, okay. So what's my lap time?" And they said, "Oh, it's a 17.6." And Max stayed quiet for a hell of a long time. And they're saying to Max a number of times, they're going, "Hey, look, we're in first place. We're like 15 seconds ahead." He said, "We don't need to risk anything. Let's just take it home smoothly." For the whole lap, he was quiet. He then went and whacked out a fastest lap, like just out of nowhere. And when you watch actually how he took that lap, it was fine margins. It's like a piece of paper, right? Against his tires to the wall. And it was just unbelievable to watch. And you sit and think, okay, wow.
Yeah. It seems really odd seeing Beerman on the lap times, doesn't it?
Yeah, so just a bit of background on Ollie Behrman. So he was 2022 with Prima Racing in Formula 3. Last year, he was in F2. And he, again, with Prima Racing, finished P6 in the Drivers' Championship. That year, the person that finished first was Theo Porcher, who is now racing in the Super Formula in Japan. He's also a reserve driver for Sauber.
Super Formula. What's that?
Yeah, it's so I'm not massively familiar with it. It's a Japanese racing championship. Let me take a closer look.
Go on, you keep chatting. I'll have a look. The Japanese Super Formula Championship is a formula racing series held primarily in Japan. It's considered to be the pinnacle of single-seater racing in Japan or Asia as a whole, making it one of the top motorsport series in the region.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were going to turn around and say it's like some Tokyo drift race. I sit and think Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the cars look quite basic in comparison to Formula One.
Yeah, I was going to say they look sort of like what you drove at. Was it at Brands Hatch?
No, at Silverstone, Formula Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find an up-to-date picture.
Nice. Gents, your podium predictions?
Podium predictions. I don't know what order to put them in, but I'm going to say Alonso, Leclerc, and
In that order?
yeah, who did I say?
Alonso,
No,
Leclerc.
switch it round. Do Leclerc, Alonso, and then it's a hard choice. I either want to go with Gasly or Lando, and I know it's probably not realistic, but it's what I want to happen. So I'm gonna go Lando.
Oh,
That's huge. No Verstappen.
I know.
He's gonna
He's gonna
collide.
DNF. He's gonna DNF, mate.
Okay. I'll give you an extra 5 points if that happens.
If he DNFs. Okay, what about this then? He DNFs and Perez gets the fastest lap.
Okay. Well, we've got fastest lap, which is worth 1 point. We'll follow the regs there, the racing rules. Dad, who have you got for getting fastest lap?
I'm gonna go. I would have said Perez, but I think. Oh, you doing Perez as well, Jordan?
Yeah.
I'll choose someone different. I just feel like Alonso could be up there, so he's not going to risk going for the fastest lap if he hasn't already got it.
Yeah.
He's racing. Because there's a chance someone's going to pick up fastest lap because they're further down the field.
Yeah, they've got a gap, so they're going to chuck some softs on. And
What about Hamilton? Hamilton for fastest lap.
He hasn't got the setup at the moment. Yeah.
Really struggling.
I'll say Russell.
Now, bit of controversy.
Yeah.
No, I know they always say a poor workman always blames his tools. So is it the car or is it Hamilton?
It's a good question. He came out, didn't he? After P1, just saying that he doesn't have the confidence in the car at the minute.
Yeah, the rear end.
Yeah.
He spun off at the that swimming pool section, whatever it's called that you were showing, or not spun off, but he lost the back end and then went wide into that small area and brought it back on just before the wall in FP2.
Oh. Wow.
Although he's just gone fastest.
I was going to say,
yeah,
going to make us eat our words. Though, we're 9 minutes in, and second and third is Bottas, then Behrman, and I think Bottas has reached that period of his career that we saw Raikkonen reach, where he doesn't really give an F. He's just there for the fun. He enjoys driving. So,
I was going to say, George, actually, because I watched a video yesterday, and I think it was about because was it Bottas that was running like a second slower than the fastest lap? I think it was because he was charging his car up because his back light was flashing, and that back light indicates to other cars that don't have the full power, so they're not going to be.
Well, it's just that they're charging the battery.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I love his tash and his mullet.
I love the fact that he loves it so much and he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I know.
He's brilliant.
He's Australian coming out.
Yeah. Well, he spends a lot of time in Oz, doesn't he? His partner, she's British though. No, British cyclist.
Don't know.
I want to say, but yeah, it's an interesting.
Oh, hang on. Hamilton was on the soft tyre.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't realise that. No, yeah, and everyone else is on the medium. Mind you, there's only about 6 runners out.
So he's only 0.3 of a second faster than the Kick Sauber, of Bottas,
On
and
the
he's
medium,
on the soft, and Bottas is on the mediums. That's worrying signs.
isn't it? Isn't it?
Wow.
Okay.
Russell's out on the softs as well. Norris has gone out on the hards. Intriguing. Another thing I wanted to talk about, which we sort of covered on one of our other episodes, which was how crazy silly season is going to be this year, given that we've got 14 drivers without a confirmed seat next year. I was going to list them, but it's probably easier just to list the 6 that do have a confirmed seat, being Norris and Piastri at McLaren, Verstappen, Hamilton at Ferrari, Leclerc, and then Russell at
You said
Mercedes.
Verstappen.
Huh?
You said Verstappen.
So Verstappen's got a long-term contract with Red Bull. Whether
With
he'll
the break clause.
Yeah.
so that clause being if Helmut Marko leaves, Verstappen leaves Red Bull, Verstappen can also leave.
Are we certain that that's the case? There's no other break clause. It has to be if Helmut Marko leaves, then he can action.
So the only clause that I've read about is the Helmut Marko clause.
What say does Jos Verstappen have in it as well?
Well, Max came out saying that he doesn't want to be. It would be strange to be on a different side to his dad, which is is fair. But it seems that Red Bull at the minute is everyone against Horner. I've been reading that if Horner stays, Adrian Newey's going to leave, which I've found a bit weird considering each of them, Horner and Newey, have a clause in their contract that if the other leaves, they can break their contract.
I think that's outdated now. That was before. I don't think that's in their current contracts, I read.
Okay, got you. Helmut Marko says if Horner stays, he's going to leave. Jos is saying that if Horner stays, Max is going to leave. I guess the history, as I understand it, is Max was a Mercedes junior driver, but the reason that he looked elsewhere was because Mercedes at the time had Nico Rosberg and Hamilton tied down to long-term contracts, and Max thought, well, I'm not going to get a drive there. So I went looking elsewhere, and that's when he landed at Red Bull, which is why Mercedes are now wanting to keep that Hamilton's old seat available for Kimi Antonelli. I've probably butchered that name. The junior driver that's at Trident.
Yeah, his first Formula 2 season, isn't it?
Yeah. Andrea Kimi Antonelli. So it's an interesting one. I think we're going to see a lot of moves. I don't whether we'll see rookies next year. I don't know. I think Liam Lawson last year made the strongest case for himself to have an F1 seat.
Yeah.
Outside of that, not too sure about Jack Doohan, whether he's ready.
Yeah.
Theo Porches has made a good case for himself, but I don't think that will happen until Sauber become Audi. I don't know. What do you think is going to be the biggest shock? Driver shock. We've had Hamilton to Ferrari. That's a huge shock. Max to Mercedes.
I just think the whole Red Bull thing is like it's a game. Like this is amazing for the sport. All of the drama that this is creating. How much of it is really true, or how much of it is people playing the game, playing the I don't know.
Great for the sport, but bad for Red Bull.
Well, they will come out. I guarantee you, they will come out smelling of roses. I mean, they've just signed a $200 million sponsorship deal in the middle of this
With
thing.
who? Oracle.
No. Oh, let me find them. Who did Red Bull just sign? I'm pretty sure I read something about it. Keep talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
Someone-
I'm having a little look in the background as well. Yeah, so Jen, who do you think is who do you think the biggest shock will be?
I reckon
Is
Gasly.
it Gasly to Mercedes?
I think Gasly to Mercedes. Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, and look, unless kind of, I mean, look, Gasly to Mercedes is my second. I personally think that Max could go to Mercedes because I personally believe what's happened is true. Otherwise, it wouldn't have kind of created what it has. Because although any publicity is great publicity, I think you've got to remember the seriousness of what it is.
The severity of the claims.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like something small and then they've tried to blow it up to get more press. It's like actually this is, and I understand they're trying to keep it hush hush, but if it was the average person, it wouldn't be kept hush hush.
No, of course
Red
not.
Bull, it's. Do you know what I mean? So I personally think that Red Bull could be kind of ruffling some feathers, and there may be a couple of people leave, and it might be a little bit of a rebuild for them. Who
Well,
knows?
I mean,
And actually, I would love to see. Do you know what? I would actually love to see it. I would love to see Max go to Mercedes, Lewis at Ferrari, because you have had quite a big reshuffle. And then
I wouldn't necessarily say I'd love to see it. I'm still very much torn. I mean, next season, I'm going to be wearing a t-shirt that is a half Mercedes top and a half Ferrari top sewn together down the middle.
I might have to do a three-way. I might have to do Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how Max performed against Russell in the same machinery.
Yeah,
I would like to see that, and additionally, I would like to see Adrian Newey not at Red Bull. The rumors are that he'll be going to Ferrari, and hopefully giving Hamilton a car worthy of an 8th championship fight.
and do you know what? What you've just said has led me perfectly into my next point. Have you seen that everyone says that Hamilton has won eight championships?
Well,
right?
I mean, technically he has. He should have. He should have. The FIA messed up.
Well, and actually, on that note, so there's someone within the FIA that's also currently being investigated for interfering with a race.
The president.
Yeah.
Of the FIA,
We think that interference was to do with that race with Max and Lewis.
No, it was. So just to clarify, so the race between Max and Lewis, it was I forget his name, the South African, Michael Massey, who was FIA president.
Yeah.
He was removed following that incident, and then he was replaced by Mohammed Ben Sulayem. Again, apologies if I've butchered the pronunciation. Now it's Mohammed Ben Sulayem who is now being investigated because it was at one of the races in the Middle East where Alonso got a 10-second time penalty, and he said to the race officials, you need to overturn that. You need to overturn the 10-second time penalty.
Sorry, for who?
Alonso.
Okay, replay, because I've just replay that last 30 seconds because I've just managed to find the new deal Red Bull signed, which I'll tell you about in a minute.
Okay, so the current FIA president, Mohammed Ben Sulayem, is being investigated currently because he forced the race officials at one of the races to overturn a 10-second time penalty that they gave to Fernando Alonso.
Right.
So he's interfering. He's also being
was the 10-second penalty justified?
I can't. It was in the Saudi race last year. Now I can't remember. We'll have to watch the
Maybe we can have a look for next time. But either way, so he forced that to be overturned. So that's what he's being investigated on.
Yeah, him forcing the race officials to overturn the time penalty. He's also being investigated. And
he's FIA, he's not F1.
No, so he's the FIA president.
Yeah. So Stefano Domicelli, how do you pronounce his surname? Domicelli, is it? He's the F1 president. So the FIA is allowed to speak to race directors directly, and then or was allowed to overturn. It seems.
Yeah. Okay. So he's also being investigated in relation to the Las Vegas event, though there isn't enough information. Apparently, as well, he encouraged Max to basically show his allegiance to Red Bull, given what's going on.
And Max hasn't, has he? He hasn't commented.
He, not directly. He, when pressed about his contract, whether he would see his contract out at Red Bull, he responded, something crazy would have to happen. But
something crazy is happening.
Yeah.
And didn't he also say that in one bit, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he back his dad up and say, my dad's not a liar?
I'm not sure.
He was questioned about his dad, and he just said, my dad's not a liar. So with the whole thing in relation to Christian Horner and this woman that Verstappen is reported to have had an affair with, which is why Jos Verstappen had access to these messages that Christian Horner was sending this woman. Anyway, let's move away from that sticky topic.
Yeah.
Red Bull signed record-breaking deal 2 days ago. Oh, no. I think it was a few more days ago. But the biggest apparel deal in the history of F1, worth $200 million. So ahead of this weekend's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Red Bull has signed a record-breaking apparel deal with precision performance sportswear brand Castor.
Oh, wow. Okay. They're like a gym clothing brand, I think. Castor.
Yeah. Regarding the deal, Red Bull team principal and CEO Christian Horner said, from the start of our collaboration with Castor last year, we knew we had found a partner whose commitment to innovation and advanced engineering matched our own. And the trust we have in them to deliver performance improvement has only increased over the last 12 months.
So on that note, then, if anyone wants a Castor jogger and top or jumper, message me if you would like it.
I just find it interesting that Horner was involved in closing the biggest sponsorship deal, sponsorship clothing deal in history. Whilst this other stuff was going on.
Yeah, but from
Inside
Horner's,
trading. Do we know what Horner's share holding
Test score is?
You know,
I was going to say though, but I mean, look, kind of, although all the things against Horner, he's still got to kind of keep doing his job, right? And it's kind of getting down to the fact that none of us really know what's going on. Only him and the people inside do. So for him, he's got to keep doing his job, right? And well done for doing the deal. But yeah, did you say apparel sponsorship as well?
apparel, clothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They'll be providing merch, I would assume. Leclerc's just gone fastest on the medium.
On the medium.
Do we all have the app up now? Yeah. Yeah, look. I've got it lent up against a fairy liquid bottle here.
I was looking at the times thinking, well, Perez and Verstappen, they've gone fastest on the softs. Oh, great. Red Bull's going to dominate again. And then Leclerc throws in a 1:29.2 on the
mediums. That's incredible.
What was my prediction? Did I say Leclerc first?
You said Leclerc first place, yeah.
Yeah, Verstappen next to me on the podium.
You did.
Take some nice
Have you seen the time?
Yeah, I know.
We started this discussion off by saying we don't have to.
We don't need the full hour.
Spend the whole,
So, you've put the F1 Fantasy link in the post, right? So it is available on LinkedIn. Are people still able to join the leagues? I noticed that Martin Ruddy has a team in the league.
Does he?
Yeah, indeed.
There we go.
So please do feel free to join. We've got Scott Kingsbury joining us on the 22nd, I want to say.
Okay.
We should have Augusto back with us next week. But in the meantime, everyone enjoy the Grand Prix. Enjoy your weekend. And we look forward to speaking again next week.
Take care, all. Have a good one.
Lights out.